Investigators blamed UEFA for the security failures at last year's Liverpool-Real Madrid final, and concluded it was only a matter of chance that no fans died. A months-long independent investigation into the dangerous overcrowding that jeopardized the safety of thousands of fans at last year's Champions League final in Paris has placed the blame squarely on European soccer's governing body, which organized the game. That no lives were lost in the crushes outside the stadium gates, the investigators' harshly critical report concluded, was only a matter of chance. The investigation was commissioned last year by the governing body it eventually faulted, UEFA, and was the product of dozens of interviews and the review of hours of video shot by fans. It concluded that senior officials responsible for security and planning for the game, the highlight of the European soccer calendar, made numerous mistakes in preparations for the matchup between Liverpool and Real Madrid, and then tried to shift responsibility onto fans for the congestion that had put their safety, and potentially their lives, at risk. It is remarkable, the report said, that no one lost their life. The report also raised new concerns about security preparations for next year's Paris Olympics, with its authors describing events around the Champions League final as a wake-up call for Olympic organizers. The panel said evidence collected from Michel Cadot, the French government official responsible for major sporting events, suggested there remained a misconception about what actually happened and a complacency regarding what needs to change. While the report, which runs to more than 200 pages, assigned part of the responsibility for the chaotic scenes outside the Stade de France to various other bodies, including the French police and the French Soccer Federation, it said the event's owner, UEFA, bears primary responsibility for failures which almost led to disaster. Liverpool fans bore the brunt of the danger as poor organization, in addition to local transport strikes, led to dangerous crushes in which thousands of fans were left penned inside fencing and with nowhere to go. The report said the danger was exacerbated by the indiscriminate and widespread use of tear gas by police officers before the game, the first Champions League final featuring full crowds after 2 years of pandemic restrictions. And the report left little doubt that the day could have turned deadly, drawing a direct comparison to the 1989 Hillsborough disaster in which policing mistakes produced a crush inside an English stadium that eventually led to the deaths of 97 people. In the judgment of the panel, the investigators wrote in comparing the two incidents, the different outcomes were a matter of chance. Yet, even as the scenes outside the Stade de France were still unfolding, investigators said, efforts were made to blame supporters for the chaos. Aware of the troubling scenes outside, UEFA announced the start of the game would be delayed because of the late arrival of supporters. This claim was objectively untrue, the report said. Later, French officials, including the Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin, blamed English fans for what Darmanin said was a massive, industrial and organized fraud of fake tickets. The report, commissioned by UEFA, found there was little evidence to back up the claim. UEFA and its most senior officials, notably Martin Collin, the head of events, were singled out for overall responsibility for what one of the report's main authors described as a near miss.